Hey friends, just want to thank you as always for your support of Studio Wesley and hoping that you're finding these leadership moments encouraging and helpful. Um, I was about to figure out what I was going to have for a meal a couple days ago, and I really wanted to make this dish that was gonna just take time and fire up the oven, and I just didn't have the time. I mean, I could have made time, but I didn't want to make time. I just wanted something really quick, and so I just popped something in the microwave as you do. And I think it was actually one of those burritos. And I put the burrito in the microwave and, thought I cooked it well enough. And, you put the little slice in the middle and it's still cold in the middle. And part of the problem is that I was microwaving, right? Like I was using a microwave to try to nuke something really quickly. And I bet some of you kind of have an idea of what I'm going to talk about today. I wonder, in what ways do we microwave the work that we do? That we expect a quick result from the work that we do. And especially so much of the work that we do as leaders is with people. And so how often we think that, okay, we got to get this done in a 1 hour coffee. We've got to have this one meeting. And I'm just wondering the ways that anxiety and expectations and even our own understandings of our desires and our abilities get sort of manipulated by this thought that if it can't be done quickly, then is it worth doing? And I want to just start flipping that on its head. And this is where I'll just get really vulnerable and say that everything I'm about to say from this point, I am still sort of learning and getting my head around and integrating into my life. But I've started to say a phrase to myself whenever I feel the deadlines creeping up, whenever I feel the pressure of performance, whenever I feel like, oh my gosh, we got to get this thing out here. We've got to do this thing. And especially when I can't get people to do what I want them to do as quickly as I want them to do it. And this is the phrase that I've started to say to myself. Real work is slow work. Real work is slow work. Now, our world does not affirm that statement. I would say that our systems, even within the church, definitely don't affirm that statement. And even many of the people that we are serving and leading with would not completely affirm the reality of that statement, that real work is slow work. But especially in the pandemic, I have begun to feel this sense of grind and machine-oriented sort of responses to the things happening around us that have so little to do with the kind of life that I see Jesus displaying in the Gospels. It has nothing to do with the kind of life that I understand the Holy Spirit wants to give us. It's the kind of life that is so busy and so focused on products that we don't actually think about human beings as souls, and we don't think about this work as sacred. And so I've been challenging myself. I've been challenging myself to begin to think, if this is real work, whatever it is that I'm doing, whether it's recording this video, which I've done about 3 times already, or it's having a coffee with a student, or it's working on a sermon, I've been encouraging myself and challenging myself with that statement. Real work is slow work. So if this is real work, if this is work that matters, if this is work that is meaningful, then it's going to have to be slow. The way that this has been the most helpful for me is that every time I say real work is slow work, it gives me a moment to listen to my body and to ask my body what it's trying to say to me. And I have these moments, and I'm sure you do too. I have these moments where I'm tired, and my knee-jerk reaction is, I need to go get some caffeine. And it's what we do. It's because we got to get that thing done, and we got only so much time, and deadlines, and there are people on the other side of that deadline. People are waiting to get the work done. And y'all, but every time I say real work is slow work, I'm like, so what does my body need right now? And sometimes most times actually, my body doesn't need caffeine. My body sometimes needs water. Sometimes my body needs to just stand up. Sometimes my body just needs to go take a walk outside. But my body's actually trying to tell me something. There's a reason why my body is tired. And it's not just because, oh gosh, I'm lazy. Or it's not just because I'm so distracted. No, it's real legitimate reasons why my body is tired. And being able to make that statement, real work is slow work, has given me a chance to stop and to ask that question and to listen. And to know that by doing that, I'm actually doing the real work. So that's really what I want to invite you to consider. Maybe the real work that we do is, by its very nature and definition, slow work. One more point. In Acts chapter 1, verse 6, the disciples look up to Jesus and they're like, hey, Jesus is about to ascend into heaven. And they're like, hey, are you going to restore the kingdom to us now? Like, has everything happened so that we can now have the world that we always wanted? And Jesus says to them, no one knows the times and seasons that have been sort of decided on other than the Father. And essentially Jesus saying, no, not right now. And I think of many ways we can look at that Acts 1 moment. I think that there is one way we can look at it as real work is slow work. Real ministry is slow ministry. No, Peter, James, and John, we're not going to just turn this thing upside down overnight. That's not real. No, disciples, we're not just going to subvert the government that is oppressing us. I know that would be awesome, but no, that's not real. Doing that overnight is not real. Real work, real ministry is slow. And I look back on that moment, right? Like 2,000 years later. And the things that are still with us, not the fast overnight microwave stuff. It's the things that took time and nurturing, intention and space, and in preparation that was its own work before actually doing the work. I'm almost convinced, that the things that the Holy Spirit is calling us to, the real stuff, is the slow stuff. So I don't know how that lands for you, but man, when I think about this pandemic and all that keeps being asked of us, I think real work is slow work might be a voice of revelation to us, a word of revelation to us. When I think about ministry to college-age young adults and the kind of examples they need, I think they need some folks who are boldly calming down, who are relentlessly slowing down. And again, I'm not there yet, but I'm hoping to get there because I do believe, I'm coming to believe that real work is slow work. So wherever you are, I hope that you'll consider that. And maybe that looks like listening to your body more. Maybe it looks like creating more margin. Maybe it looks like just saying no to some things. But I hope that you will allow the Holy Spirit an opportunity to define what real work looks like for you in this season. Thanks as always for your support of Studio Wesley. We're with you, we're cheering for you, and we're grateful for all of you. Thanks, my friends.